Hey guys, it's Maggie and I am back today, and I thought for today's video we could do a little bit of a morning routine. What my morning looks like having Crohn's disease and having an ostomy. There's a number of things that I do kind of mindlessly because they have become routine to me. But they deal so much with my health that I think it might be interesting to see kind of all the things that I go through throughout the day to A, function like a normal human being, and B, take care of my health. It is not uncommon for me to start my day with a completely full ostomy bag, although I tend to linger in bed for a bit, just messing around on my phone, snuggling with the dogs, enjoying my heating pad for the last couple of minutes, and then eventually when I realize if I don't do something quick, my ostomy will burst in the bed, I finally get out. There's this shimmy that when I get to a certain point with my ostomy being full that I have to do to get out of the bed, because if you sit up, where mine is fixated on my stomach, I can potentially pop it. So sometimes I have to get out of bed by keeping my legs straight and kind of turning out of bed. Thankfully, we were not there today. I finally head downstairs so I can take care of my ostomy. I empty it in the restroom, and when I'm all done that, the next step that I like to take is to take my morning medications. A number of my medications do work a bit better if I have not had anything to eat yet, but some of them also make me feel like not that great if I eat them on an empty stomach. I've been excited for this part of my routine for a while now because this video is sponsored by Ritual, who creates these wonderful supplements that I have started taking, and they've made such an impact on my morning routine. I was initially excited to try them because one of my favorite YouTubers uses them. She pays for them out of pocket and she swears by them, so when they reached out for a collaboration, I was like, yes, I need to try these babies. So I did. I thought this would be wonderful because it would cut down on a number of supplements that my doctors want me to take because they're all contained into one, and also because they're supposedly gentle on the stomach. That's something I kind of need. A lot of the times I hesitate to take my medications in the morning because if I do it on an empty stomach, I feel a bit nauseated. Especially with a lot of vitamins, they have that very vitamin-y scent. I don't know how to describe it. These do not. These have a wonderful minty scent, and they are so gentle on the stomach. I was shocked. It's not just that though, it simplified my routine. I was having a lot of issues filling my pill case because I take a number of different supplements. They're all separated pills, and I was finding myself accidentally putting 2 of one in when I was only supposed to do 1 because I just take a lot. And these supplements would reduce that by quite a bit. So that really simplified it, made my routine of filling my pill case a lot easier. I wanted something that was going to simplify my routine, be easy for me to digest, and covered all the nutrients that my doctor wanted me to get in a simple form. So I only have to take 2 pills rather than the 4 to 6, depending on the day, that I had been taking. Plus, I have seen how much work has gone into creating these multivitamins, and the ones that I am taking are the Essentials for Women 18+. It's a clinically backed multivitamin with high quality ingredients that help people meet their nutritional needs. They help to support your brain health, your bone health, your ability to build blood, and it provides antioxidant support. They're vegan-friendly, gluten-free, major allergen-free, and they are non-GMO project verified. They also don't contain any extras or artificial colorants. I really was so surprised at how gentle it was on my stomach, and for those of you who may also have an ostomy, a major concern to me was, is this going to come out into my ostomy bag undigested? In my case, no. When they had reached out to me about potentially collaborating together, I had specifically asked about that because I was very concerned about it not absorbing properly because of my ostomy, and they were more than willing to provide information to me so I could make the best decision for myself. Their website is so clear about pretty much anything you'd want to know about these multivitamins. They have where the ingredients are sourced, why they have what they have in their vitamins, the clinical data to back up their multivitamins, and where the multivitamins are supposed to be absorbed, which the Crohn's patient in me loves that. It's just 2 capsules a day, and you can have them sent right to your house, so you're not having to worry about running down to the pharmacy and picking up your multivitamin, which to be honest, is a struggle for me. For me to get any of my medications at the store, the pharmacy right down the road, it's a pain in the butt. They're offering 20% off to my viewers on your subscription for the first month, and that is going to be in a website that I will put in the description below, and I'll have it on screen here as well. And the great thing is, if you do not like your ritual with your new multivitamin after 30 days, you can get a full refund, no questions asked, which is amazing. Thank you so much to Ritual for sponsoring this video. Let's continue on with our daily routine, having an ostomy and having IBD. So after taking all of my morning medications and my multivitamin, it's time for me to get into the shower. Typically what I like to do, because on this day I was due for an ostomy bag change, I like to wait to eat, get in the shower, and remove my ostomy bag there. Today, however, my ostomy had some different plans. It was acting a little, crazy, a little excited. So I decided to just keep my ostomy on, see how the day goes with it, see when it slows down, because it can be really annoying to try and change your ostomy when your stoma is being really active. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow when your body is deciding what it wants to do for the day, and you just have to go along with it. As I'm getting ready for the day, you might notice that I'm trying to be really careful with my skin and my hair. Due to my little flare-up last fall when my ostomy was really having issues and I wasn't seemingly absorbing a lot, I actually wound up losing quite a bit of hair, and my hair is still a lot thinner than it used to be. Thankfully, the hair loss has slowed down, but I've noticed that if I am too rambunctious when I'm washing it or when I'm brushing it through, I am tending to lose hair a bit easier than I used to. I also am just trying to be careful with my skin. You'll notice I have a little bit of acne. Due to my biologic medication, I seem to heal fairly slowly, and anytime I touch any little bumps on my face, it takes forever to heal. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I did it. It's done. And now I have to deal with the consequences. So I'm just trying to protect these little areas. They are doing a little bit better, but that's something else I have to think about on my daily routine. Finally, I get dressed, I've got my makeup on, I'm feeling good for the day, and I head downstairs. Except I forgot one thing in my routine. When there's many things that you have to think about, I tend to forget one or two things. So I grabbed a towel downstairs and I patted my ostomy dry. I do this around the whole bag as well as around the flange itself, because if I leave it damp, it will tend to irritate my skin and potentially start a fungal infection, because I like to tuck my ostomy into my pants now, and in that dark environment, things can grow and multiply, I have learned. So I took care of that, and finally I am getting ready to start my work. So I head to the kitchen, grab my cup of coffee, a granola bar, and head over to my computer desk. I also grabbed a glass of water and an electrolyte tablet because, as I had said previously, my ostomy was being a little bit more active this morning, and because I was not due for IV fluids for another week and a half, I decided let me catch up now and make sure I don't get too behind on my fluid intake so I don't get dehydrated. I wound up working for a while, and eventually my ostomy had calmed down. It seemed pretty quiet, so I was able to head back upstairs to complete my ostomy change. I get asked quite a bit about my ostomy change versus emptying. So I will typically change the full appliance. That means removing the flange, removing the bag, throwing it away, and putting a new one on about every 3 to 5 days. When it comes to emptying, I will typically empty anywhere from 5 to 8 times a day. Really depends on how my intestines are acting, how active my stoma wants to be, and what I've eaten that day. I always feel so much better after I change my ostomy. You feel like a new woman. So I head back downstairs afterward. I made myself a little bit of lunch. We had some leftover burrito stuff, so I put together one of those and I ate it. It was delicious. It was too hot though. Almost burned my mouth, but I did eat it and it was so good. And almost immediately after, I got a little bit of a stomach ache. Now, my Crohn's disease, as far as my understanding, it's in remission. I don't have any active inflammation, but sometimes certain foods, it's a little bit hard to tell when it's gonna do it, but sometimes I will get some stomach aches. They're pretty mild, but they do happen. And basically what I do during this is I just either get a heating pad, hold it on my stomach for a while, sit really still, wait for it to pass. They don't last very long, but they are they do kind of get a little bit intense when I'm in the midst of it. So I sat there and I just breathed for a couple minutes and it went away. And finally, after all of that, I was ready to get back on the computer, complete my work, and by that time, I was exhausted. And I know that sounds really funny because you're probably watching this video going, Maggie, you barely did anything. That's the frustrating thing about this illness, is that I can do very little and just get so exhausted. It's so frustrating because I just want to get stuff done. I just want to go, go, go. But I have learned over the many years, almost 20 years of having Crohn's, that I just need to listen to my body. And if it's telling me, hey, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I go lay down. And recently that's been the case. So I will lay down in the middle of the day. I hate it, but I do it. It makes me feel better. So that way in the afternoon, I can get back to it. And this means that I work a little bit later in the day if I have a lot to do, or I'll work into the evening, and that's fine. I just have to readjust my schedule. I think that every patient's day will look a little bit different from each other. And even in one patient's, week, each day can look very different from the next. Your body really does, unfortunately, get to dictate what you do, what you're capable of doing that day, and what you're not capable of doing. And like I said, it's frustrating, but you do tend to learn how to manage that throughout. I've learned to go with the flow as much as I can, but also try to maintain as much of a routine as possible. I think that taking my medications and my supplements like Ritual first thing in the morning is very helpful. It sets me up for a good day. I always find that if I get vitamin D in the morning, I tend to be a lot more awake and clear-headed throughout the day. I try to eat before noon. I try to take care of anything medical like my ostomy change. I try to do that in the morning so that way later in the day, as my energy winds down and I don't feel like doing it, it's already taken care of. And that's kind of how I manage throughout my morning. I will have to come back and do an afternoon or an evening routine for you guys so you can see what that looks like. It's usually a lot more restful and sleepy. But I also do stuff to maintain my health as well as, be a regular person and get stuff done in life. Thank you so much again to Ritual for sponsoring this video. Don't forget that you can get 20% off your first month subscription by clicking the link in my description or typing it into your URL bar right here. I'm very fortunate to have sponsors like them to help support me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next. Bye, guys.